Okay, Tuesday, February 17th. 3 cards for the energies in play today. Let's see what's up. First card. Death. Reversed. So death, of course, is one of those cards that is not literal. This is not predicting a death of anyone. What it does point to is change, transformation, because death is never the end, especially in tarot. Death points to energies being shifted into a new configuration of something being ended so that something new can begin from a fresh place. So we need to clear the wreckage away before we can build whatever's coming next. Without change, the universe could not exist in the first place. So we need that. That's what time is for. The fact that it's reversed indicates that something is resistant to this change. There's something that you may be hanging on to that's outlived its usefulness. It may be time to let go of that once and for all so that death can do its work of reorganizing us. We are just a constellation of energies that's constantly dissolving and reconfiguring in some way. It's a very dynamic process, and death is what makes that possible. There's a heaviness to this too. The color scheme in this particular deck, which is the Morgan Greer deck, very saturated, very dark, very brooding. I mentioned earlier in my previous video that I felt like the field was not very coherent, but that there was maybe some shadow work indicated. And I think there's a suggestion of that here. I mean, literally this whole card is in shadow. Notice the sigh that death is holding here. That's what does the clearing of space so that something new can grow. And that new thing is indicated by the rose here. You've got this bright, white, beautiful rose in full bloom. That rose is only able to blossom once the conditions are right. Death is what prepares the ground. So that could point to shadow work. It could be there's something you're resisting, something that you're not crazy about looking at because it feels scary. That's the thing about shadow work. When we dive into those shadows and find out what's really in there, it's never as scary as we think it's going to be. It's only scary in the story that we're telling about it. It's only scary because we've been fed narratives about how scary it might be, therefore don't go there and don't look. But we find out that those energies are an essential part of who we are, and we need to understand them and to befriend them in order to be a fully functioning energetic being. And just to clarify, the heaviness and the saturated nature of this card is not doom. It's more like the gravity of inevitability. Change is going to happen regardless, and it doesn't ask for permission, but you do need to participate in it willingly if it's to go smoothly. So let's see what the next card has to tell us about this and flesh it out a little. Okay, second card. And we have the Six of Cups, and it's in the upright position. I think these white flowers in this card echo the rose in the previous card, so it's definitely pointing toward what abundance or what growth is going to fill in to the space that death is pointing to. The field is going to be cleared, and whatever has been seeded there will come into full blossom. You can see that every one of these cups is full, so there's emotional abundance here. There may be friendship or relationship indicated by the two figures in the card. The sky is sunny, pleasant weather. Basically, this is a card of harmony and coming together and stability. If you've seen this version of the card in the Rider-Waite deck, there's a little bit of an imbalance between the figures. The male figure is notably larger than the female figure in that deck. In this one, they're much more closely matched in size. That suggests an equal partnership. So if there's a business transaction, a relationship, no one is being taken advantage of in this situation, and the gifts are shared fully. And honestly, I don't feel like it wants to go any deeper than that today. That feels like a pretty literal read. Growth happening where the field has been cleared. So the heavy energetic or spiritual work, integration work that you may be doing already or have done for some time now, that's coming to an end. Death is giving us a transition moment here to move into this new period of abundance. Okay, final card to round out the spread today, and we get the Hierophant, and he is upright. Kind of curious that he comes in at the end of the spread here, because I would have expected him a little bit earlier. He speaks to us of spiritual systems, and there's a lot of psychological gravity in this card. The crossed keys at the bottom suggest that we're dealing directly with logos here. This is the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, the system itself. And the way his hand is raised suggests to me that this progress is not only inevitable, but it's sanctioned. He's basically giving you his blessing to move forward, whatever that means to you. I always am drawn to this moon shape around his collar that suggests feminine energy. That it's an integral part of the way this system functions and harmonizes. The gloves on his hands suggest a certain distance from physical reality. This is kind of what we mean by saying in the world but not of it. which is we can handle it, we're comfortable in it, and yet there's a certain barrier that prevents us from being too abraded by it. This feels to me like the end of the hermit phase that can kind of follow an awakening and integration. A lot of us will withdraw for a while we recalibrate ourselves internally and do that really deep inner work, those dark nights of the soul and everything else we have to navigate. And then after a while, that isolation and individuation starts to feel a little bit lonely. So it's time to go back out into the world and test ourselves in it, participate in it, because there is a benefit that we give to society by stepping back into it and allowing our energy to inform it. It doesn't mean we have to go out and teach people necessarily. It's not an identity that we're putting on. It's more that just our presence is nourishing to the environment around us. And we have the keys to that now. So to sum up today's read, the first card, Death Reversed, a transition is underway, but there's some kind of hesitation happening here. Something old is ready to dissolve. There may be some resistance or fatigue around the change, but that's just friction. Six of Cups upright is emotional harmony, returning, equal exchange, relational warmth, a softer way of being that emerges after this space is cleared. And then finally, the Hierophant, integrating our learning and our development into lived principle. Personal transformation, stabilizing as a grounded structure, and your embodied wisdom informing the larger field. So that's it for today. Like, follow, and share. See you tomorrow.